Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. Guys, this will be a fun show. We promise you that. Um, if you're here listening for the first time on our audio version, welcome. And hopefully you enjoy the show. This is a show where we talk about our top 5 comic books. We talk about the weekly news. We talk about our most anticipated comics of the week. It's going to be a lot of fun. And guys, my name is Mike Spiderslayer from the YouTube channel Comic Book Corner 2.0. And then next, I'm going to pass it over to Kat Comic Uno. Say hello.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, Comic Uno. You might know me for my YouTube stuff and also my writing over at Newsarama.
All right. And then next, we have Brant Fowler.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Brant Fowler, and you may know me for Last Number Press.
And then last but not least, we have Chris, the Dark Avenger C86. Say hello.
Chris, Dark Avenger C86 on YouTube. Been doing comics for a long time. Last Number Press as well. Brant, you are just, I'm not even, I know what Brant's laughing, but I'm not saying nothing. No,
I didn't say a word. Yeah.
And also because the reason we were late is because we were trying to make StreamYard perfect. But of course, the first day we have our audio version. StreamYard is far from perfect today. So that's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if any of the viewers out there are seeing any issues, just let us know so we know, kind of feedback. But yeah, so let's get started with this week's episode. So we don't have that much news to talk about. We have some news pieces, and once we get through that, we'll talk about the comics. So I am going to pass it over to Kat. Kat, what do you got for the news this week?
The news. So first we have the media news, which is Spider-Man 3's title finally came out officially. No more trolling. So that's Spider-Man No Way Home. And surprisingly, that's going to be in December of this coming year, which is kind of crazy. And I think we could kind of delve into that. They're probably going to jump into some alternate reality stuff. There's already been rumors that the other Spider-Mans will be in it. So that should be fun. And yeah, again, I can't believe, I think the news here wasn't even just the title, is that it's just coming out so soon and Black Widow still hasn't come out.
Yeah. I'm still excited for it though. And No Way Home definitely kind of points to him being lost somewhere. I thought the board that they showed was funny. Some of the stuff written on there, like there was like "Stay home" and it was like "Please stop this."
Yeah.
I thought that was funny, but yeah, we sent poor Mike down a rabbit hole and he found a fake trailer and watched that and thought it was the movie.
Oh my God!
Got really excited.
Yeah, it was so bad. It was like Brant's like, yeah, trailer came out for Spider-Man, and like the original one that he talked about, like I already saw it, right?
Yeah.
But then when he said it was a trailer, I was like, no way. And so I went on there and obviously had like 1 million views or whatever it was, and I'm like, oh, this has got to be it. And then it was a really good fake trailer. You know what I'm saying? Like it showed like possible Venom in there and Doctor Strange and stuff like that. And I was like, well, this is weird that they're showing all these characters, but I'm like, it could be just, fake out or whatever to tease you or whatever it is. And then Brant's like, yeah, sorry, that's not really real. Like, oh no, man, that sucks.
Yeah, not it at all.
Oh well. Eventually.
Any other thoughts on Spider-Man or?
I mean, there's not much to go on.
It's going weird on my side.
Oh, is it?
I think my internet's really being fun today. But we're going to move on. Unless Chris has
a question.
Sure.
I'm not auditioning, but sure. I mean, if they wanted to get me, they could find me. They know where they can find me. I don't know why I'd be auditioning.
Chris could be what's the dude that owns the what? I was talking about the Bibbo or whatever his name is. You could be Bibbo or whatever his name is. That's like
I don't want to be the bartender. Fan. I don't want to
be the bartender. There you go. Be the bartender. Big Superman fan bartender.
I'll be Connor. I mean, if they want a Superboy, I could do that.
Did we want to talk about the Superman news? Because I feel like that was something big, and we didn't mark it down or anything.
The
But
reboot, yeah, we could talk about that reboot. See, what people think about it.
The one with the new movie you're talking about?
Yeah. So Takashi, the person who does Black Panther, the person who does
Ta-Nehisi Coates, yeah.
Yeah, he's writing the movie. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but I believe. I hope I'm not pausing on my side. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we hear you, but your screen's frozen.
Yeah. And now she's frozen.
And now we don't.
Now she's gone.
And now she's gone.
I will say thank you, Renee, for the comment. I'm guessing it's for the. I appreciate that. People have figured out that I've gone into a training routine, apparently.
Or they just know that you're a big Superman fan.
Or both. It could be both. I don't know. It could be both. Give me my dream. Brandon's just been on me since before the stream. I'd just like to say that. But that's okay.
Hey,
Brandon hasn't had a chance for a while.
We gotta welcome you back. We gotta welcome you back in full force, man. You
haven't had me around for what? How many months? You need to catch up on all the months.
A very, very long time. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that's completely fine. But I'll start with the Superman news. I mean, I saw it on Twitter. There is rumors of they're going with a what do you call it? They're going with a black Superman. I'm hoping it's Val Zod. I'm hoping we're getting Earth 2, maybe. I'm really hoping. I think that would be really cool if DC delves into Earth 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably what Kat was about to say before she dropped it. She just tried to come back and dropped again. But yeah, no, that would be cool, and it would make sense with Ta-Nehisi Coates writing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that would be definitely a different direction to go with Superman, and one that we have not seen yet on the big screen. So that would be cool.
I think it would be a great collaboration if they can get Henry Cavill back also. I mean, you could pull like what they're doing with Spider-Man Far From Home, where you can have universes crossing over. I mean, sky's the limit, honestly. And I mean, you're getting Supergirl in Flash also. So, I mean, you're getting all these characters for Superman. It'd be a great opening for a huge crossover.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have too much to say about Superman. I'm just like, okay, there's another reboot, there's another movie. It's just at this point when it comes to Superman, I just need to see a trailer and then I'll make judgment there.
Yeah, of course.
What did you guys end up talking about? Did you about Superman? Sorry,
Chris is hoping it's Val Zod.
Yeah.
I think from what I'm hearing, it will be Val Zod, which will be cool. I think it's cool that we're getting a different type of Superman because we literally have Superman on TV. We're literally having a TV show right now. We've seen the other version of Superman so many times done well. So I think it'd be cool to see a different Superman on the big screen.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the comic news here. We got Black Cat stealing the Infinity Gauntlet is going to be part of this big Marvel event, which is Infinite Destinies.
I think, it makes sense, and I love that they kind of teased that in a way in Black Cat this week.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
It was a nice, fun foreshadowing moment that I saw this news after I read that issue, so I was like, oh, that's really cool. I actually get to see that, and it makes sense. She's a thief, and she wants all the power. That's been her, all the power, all the glory. That's been her thing. So it makes perfect sense. What she would do with it could be very interesting. So.
I like how they're giving her a prominent role too in a book. I think that's really cool. I was excited for it. I mean, I know people might not be as excited for it just for the pure reasons, like, oh yeah, another story with the Infinity Stones or gems in it. How many times have we seen this where now a different character is getting it? But I think I find it interesting on a different wielder of the power and how they handle it, right? So that's what I would like to see. We've seen Thanos have it so many times, and it's just like, but I want to see some of these common characters have it and see how they deal with it.
Yeah.
So moving on. What were you gonna say, Chris?
Period. I was just gonna say I'm interested in seeing what Black Cat is actually going to do with the gauntlet. Is she just stealing it? Is she going to use it? What's she going to use it for? It's going to be a mini series.
Yeah.
we will see how that all plays out. But yeah, next thing we have is that Batman gets a crossover comic with Fortnite. So we've been seeing a lot of Fortnite stuff, and anything that we always say this, anything that brings people to the comic book stores, you do not need to read the Batman Fortnite comics, so do not complain. You do not need to buy it. It's not like, oh, here's a 6-issue arc in the Batman flagship. It's a completely different book, and I think it's, hopefully it'll bring more people to the comic book store.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense if you're going to put a character in Fortnite from the comics. Batman is a perfect one to put there.
He's been there
it just kind of
already.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but like in this storyline in the comic, he's lost his memories. He doesn't know who he is or why he's there, and that kind of thing. So that makes it even more interesting because obviously he'll still have the skill set, but I don't know. I'll have to see what the story is actually about, but it sounds like it can be really fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think.
Agree. Go ahead, Mike.
I wonder if there's a delay. I didn't know if you were hearing me late, Chris.
No,
when it comes to Fortnite, there, I wish Marvel would have released a crossover comic book in itself when they did their event. I thought that would have been cool, and I think like in any video game, it would be great if they had a comic book that coincide with it or crosses it over. So we constantly let people know that these comic books exist outside just say a movie universe, So I think it's always great, and hopefully it does definitely help the industry.
Yeah, Fortnite has been crossing over with almost everything, and Tevye brought it up too about Thor. I mean, the last season involved Marvel, all the Marvel characters. Well, 2 seasons now. 2 seasons ago with all Marvel. They had Galactus attack the Fortnite universe. So I think it's great we're getting them now in the comics as well. And every comic book, for those of you that love playing Fortnite, every comic book's going to have a code to unlock special gear in the game. So if you love Fortnite and you collect comics, you get a bonus. So it's kind of like what Mike was talking about with the extra content. And it's still just the price of a comic book. And you get some in-game loot if you enjoy playing Fortnite.
Some people might just buy the comic book and say screw the story and just get
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm buying the comic for the loot in the comic.
If that gives comic book stores more money, I really don't care what they do with the story. I really don't. Like, do what you want. I think that's great though. It gives initiative for those gamers to actually go pick it up.
Yeah, for sure.
I get Batman because I was not going to pay the money to get Batman back in the day.
So moving on to another big news piece that came out, which is that Infinite Frontier is going to be a mini series. So obviously, disclaimer: do not spoil Infinite Frontier. Thank you, guys. I have read Infinite Frontier but everyone else has not read Infinite Frontier. So please, I know a lot happens, but we will be talking about that next week. But we are going to talk about the mini series. So I actually knew about this for a while. So it's cool that they're finally announcing it, and it's going to be hard to talk about this. Like, I feel like this is a better conversation for next week because, like, you guys won't know if you want more until you read issue 0. But I personally think it's cool, and I'm curious to see what it'll be about. It's actually about Alan Scott, where Alan Scott actually has a pretty big story in the issue. So we'll probably talk about that next week. But yeah, I think it's a cool thing.
Well, I think it's a good time to be getting on DC Comics now. I think a lot of us have been burnt out with Future State, whether you liked it or not. There was just a lot of it, and a lot of it was a lot of filler that didn't really mean anything. And I think now that we're finally getting new DC Comics for the first time, pretty much that means something since, man, when you think about it, guys, like right December, because you had Endless Winter which is another throwaway story. So you're talking like almost 4 months without any great or new DC material besides the few things you got from Future State.
Yeah,
so
I'm excited too. It's like you said, it's kind of a new era. I'm looking forward to jumping in and seeing what it's all about and where all these characters go because it feels like we've been at a standstill or a distraction for so long now that I just want some movement. I want some good stories and some good characters, and so far I'm excited for it.
I'm looking forward to it too. I mean, delay now, 100%.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it because I like the linear universe. I like the idea of having a series that's going to kind of focus on Infinite Frontier yet, so I have no clue. But I am going to be getting the miniseries. The only thing is, like Black Knight said, I am kind of a little upset that it's $5.99.
But it's a big book, so like I don't care.
It's
you know,
a big book.
64 page.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of story in it, and there's like a lot of like for this week's version. There's a lot of important stories that happen. So every story pretty much has something that progresses to the DC universe. So I don't love big price tags, but when it's like worth your money, like they're not. Here's 22 pages, pay me $6. Like it makes sense. That's $5.99.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not like 22 pages and now here's a backup story of Amethyst. Like it's not like that. It has to do with the actual main story.
Yeah.
So.
So going into the next topic before we go into our big topic of the week, which is new Batgirl series Tease. This actually was teased in interview I did with James Tynion. Don't know if that interview came out yet, but it is on Newsarama did a story about the quote that he said. So hopefully that interview will be coming out soon. But he mentioned pretty much there's going to be a Batgirl series coming up, and that's cool. And Barbara's going to have a really big role in the future of DC, which I think is really cool, just to kind of see Oracle again, but also not that, she could still play Batgirl in a way as well. So I'm stoked, obviously. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Mike.
Go ahead, Brent.
Okay, sorry. There's delays all over the place. I was just gonna say real quick. I love the teases of that kind of thing we got through Future State, and I think right before Future State too, right? Like Cassie,
the Batman stuff. Yeah, they've had references to them.
Yeah, Cassie and Stephanie were wearing the symbol or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's just cool. It's like long overdue that you had all these characters that are tied to the Bat family become part of it in that way and kind of form their own little group, which is really cool because I love all those characters and I want to see them all highlighted as a Batgirl. So this is the perfect way to do it. So.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's pretty awesome because we saw Batgirl get canceled towards the end there. Before Endless Winter, and we were all kind of wondering or guessing, what's going to happen with Batgirl and where's this, where's she going to be in the future? And then obviously we see the pages turned throughout the Batman series, and we saw what happened to her before Future State happened, and now that the series is coming out, this is a great thing.
So the next thing we're going to talk about, well, unless Chris had more stuff to say about Batgirls, did you have anything to say, Chris?
I gotta read it. No, gotta read it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All gonna read that one. So next up is the topic we're gonna discuss, which is Supergirl. It's got a new series. I believe it's a limited series, but the twist is that Tom King is writing this series. I read
and she has a sword!
She does have a sword. Chris is the only one who's excited about that because it makes no sense that she has a sword. But she has super strength. Why does she need a sword?
And it's a pirate sword.
Like, who has magic, and the sword cuts magic.
Okay.
All right.
It's a magic cutting sword. Yes.
It looks like it's a pirate
magic cutting sword.
A pirate sword?
Yeah,
that's even weirder.
But it's got a little curve to it, like
so. It's like a cutlass. Yeah,
or like a samurai sword or something like. I don't know.
Okay, so it's a cutlass or a scimitar or something. Maybe it's who knows. It doesn't make sense to me that Supergirl would have a sword just because she's Supergirl, unless she's on a planet where her powers don't work.
Well, she is going to be off planet, which I'm not a huge fan of. So the description of the book, because I was thinking, okay, maybe this, like, just because Tom King has written a lot of things that are more depressing, doesn't mean that Supergirl is going to be depressing. But I read it, and it's the same exact thing that I really have not been liking about Supergirl, which is like, she's mad, she's angry, she hates the world, she doesn't have a role anymore. And it's like, that's the thing I didn't like in Future State, I didn't like in the New 52. I just don't like it. I will give the first issue a solid shot, but I think the critique I've always had about Tom King's writing, because I see some people are saying like, he's not as good as writing female characters. I don't think it's that. I just think he writes the same character over and over again. And that's for female characters and male characters. Like the male characters, like when he's writing Strange Academy, Strange Adventures, Mr. Miracle, Vision, they're all the same character, and all the love interests are the same character. So I'm also curious, I guess, with Supergirl, because it is a female lead, if it's going to be similar to like a Catwoman or whatever. But yeah, I hope that this flexes a muscle for him and he's able to do something different. I don't know how to feel about it. I really, really don't. And then also, I guess it goes into like a male writer writing Supergirl, which I don't mind by any means, but just like we haven't seen Supergirl in a while. And also this is like one of the characters that really hasn't had much of a female voice. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little torn on it, honestly.
I got it. I know what it's going to be.
What is it going to be?
Kryptonian poetry.
I hope so. We learned about the poetry.
I'm teasing, of course.
She's doing some kind of origami with the sword.
We know Tom King can write, right? Like we've read good stuff from Tom King, and I'm hoping that he can do that with Supergirl. But I agree with you. I don't want her to be angry. I'm sick of that too. It doesn't fit the character for me, especially the version of the character that we've gotten in the past few years through other media. Definitely doesn't fit. So it's just I want something different. So if he can pull that off, then I'm happy.
Well, you know what's not different is her carrying a weapon, because I'm pretty sure we saw her carry a weapon recently.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had this conversation about it too.
Yeah, we had this exact conversation with it. The one thing that I do like about it is that she has crypto with her. So that I think will add a fun element. And it could have a good relationship between her and Crypto, which could be a lot of fun. Like you can't write a depressing dog, right? So I mean that's got to be a good time to at least read. So it's 8 issues. I think he's better off doing the miniseries than a long drawn out run. Obviously, we've seen that with Batman. So we'll see how this one turns out. But I'm definitely going to give it a try, because I want a good Supergirl series. We haven't seen it in so long. It was the one that we all liked. What was that one, Kat? You remember?
Supergirl being
super. Yeah.
That was a phenomenal read. Yeah. It was so well written. Good. And I would love to see a good one again, So it's tough. You would not think that it'd be so hard to sell a Supergirl series, or at least write a Supergirl series.
You would think after at least the one time they failed and like, oh, okay, maybe we shouldn't do this, they wouldn't continue to make a series and do the same exact thing. Right. That's the one you'd think they kind of learn a lesson, or like listen to what people are saying and what they want. And I feel like they haven't done that with the character in a long time. So we'll see what happens. I'll read it. I saw Alan said, "Oh, I can't wait for her to rant." I rarely rant. I usually critique. But if I don't like it, then I'm just not going to read all of it. I don't like doing that. I don't like, except Batman and Catwoman. I had to see, and I dropped that. So yeah. Other than that, that's all the news for this week. So one reminder, if you're listening for this audio version, or even if you're listening on the video version, next week we'll have the link. But if you could give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, it really, really helps. And we're going to actually have some initiative as well for the people listening. We're going to be doing some giveaways. So if you already give a 5-star rating, you'll be in that giveaway, which is really cool. So we'll have the link for that soon. But definitely get ready for your reviews. Maybe go on Notes and write some nice things. We'd love that.
Yeah, and it really does help too.
No, yeah, for sure. It helps us a ton. And also just liking this video or subscribing really helps as well.
Yeah.
So we are now going to go into Under the Radar. One thing we should mention, Mike Knight first before we go under the radar. He says only some comments are visible in chat. You're highlighting comics I can't see. So there are 2 chats going on right now on Mike's channel, Comic Book Corner 2.0, and then also Comic Book Weekly. You go watch the streams at the same time if you want to see both chats.
Yeah, and we're also streaming on a Facebook group, so I don't know if those flow into
Facebook
this too.
does not show up. Yeah, Facebook doesn't show up on the comments on StreamYard.
Right. So wherever you're watching, that's where you're going to see the comments.
Yeah, exactly.
So under the radar this week, I'm going to start off for the last time, hopefully, with more of a question than a under the radar. But I love the artwork, and I got to go back and read the previous issue. Spawn issue number 315. Big fight going on with Spawn. They had the Spawn Knight in there. There are a lot of characters. There's apparently some type of a war or fight that spawns in. I got to go back. I missed the previous 5 months. I don't know, Mike, have you been kept up with Spawn?
Yeah, I started catching up because I'm trying to dive into the Spawn universe that's getting ready to launch. And so I read a lot of issues this particular week, and Spawn winds up getting captured, and he winds up doing battle against Omega Spawn. That's who he was doing battle against. And then Medieval Spawn came, and they were all doing battle against this particular version of Spawn, and it was intense. And then, of course, by the time you wind up getting to the end of this book, you wind up seeing that there is another Spawn-like creature that's got spikes. Yeah. So the reason why people are probably like, why are all these spawns appearing at it everywhere? Well, Al wound up going through some kind of space-time continuum type of thing, and it broke through. And so now it released all these spawns. So it's like you get spawns from hell, spawns from heaven, and now they're all fallen to Earth, and now they're all trapped on Earth. So you're slowly getting introduced to all these different characters, and it's all leading up until the new series that's getting ready to come out.
Okay. So, I loved it. I thought the art was great. The fight was awesome, and the ending with the Dark Spawn, I don't know what we're going to call him yet, but I'm excited to see where this goes for sure, and I'm going to go back and read the previous issues.
Yeah, artwork was good in this issue too.
Yes, very good. I loved it. I hope does it stay like that for the previous issues too, Mike, or is this new art?
It changes a few. Like I think within story arcs it changes, but it doesn't veer too far off. But this particular story arc was really good with the artwork. Okay. Clean, really clean.
Yes. All right, Mike. So what was your under the radar this week?
My under the radar book this week was actually Stray Dogs, issue 1. So it's kind of funny. I didn't even realize my whole comic book week got screwed up because I didn't get my independent comics, or I didn't get any of my Marvel comics this week. And so I was trying to stress reading books, and I had to wind up reading them digitally. And I hate doing that because I can't get into the story as much. But my Facebook group reminded me about Stray Dogs, and they're like, "Oh, you got to read Stray Dogs." I'm like, "What the heck is Stray Dogs?" It's first issue, and it's a book about dogs, right? And they all talk to each other and stuff like that. And I think it's the artist that did My Little Pony. I could be wrong, but I think
no, you're right.
You're right. You're right.
And I love how they all talk to each other and whatnot. And you get to see this story about this dog that winds up getting rescued. And but you find out the rescue is actually a murderer, and he killed the dog's owner. and now this dog is trying to get all the other dogs to rally and figure out, how to stop this particular bad guy. Very interesting book. And you don't see a lot of these books, with dogs in them, because it's like, I would love to see more of this, because it's like, I love to see the way the dog thinks, or how the writer writes a particular dog and their characters and whatnot. And being that I'm a dog lover, you own a dog, Brand owns a dog, it just, I don't know, it makes you peek into the dog's mind a little bit more, which is so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about it.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, you talked about it in our group, Mike, and I actually checked the book out. I thought it was really nice. I really enjoyed it, the first issue.
Yeah, I there's a lot of things I like about it. One being the Disney style, like drawing, animation almost, and like a lot of the dogs in it look very familiar. Like you got a Dalmatian that looks just like one from 101. You got characters that look like different Lady and the Tramp, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
and I like the way that they played up the short-term memory thing with dogs. So, and that plays into the dog remembering and not remembering things about how she got there. And it was just, it's like, okay, this is going to be a very interesting mystery going forward. And, oh, is this dude a serial killer and are these his trophies? It's just like, whoa. It got really dark from a really bright animated Disney kind of book. So yeah, it was a good read. I enjoyed it too.
Yeah. And the one dog too, that is just like, where did I put that bone? Do I have a bone? You know, he's just like constantly worrying about, because it went back to the memory situation, and the one dog is just, they're having this serious conversation, and the one dog on the side's always like, yeah, man, where's my bone? I want my bone. You see where I put that bone? It was so funny. It's a good book, man. I'm looking forward to more of it.
Yeah.
All right, next we have Brent. What was your under the radar?
Sorry.
I don't know what
no, it's somebody came in. Mine, I actually changed mine because I'll explain it later. But anyway, mine's Buffy the Vampire.
Oh
yeah, I
God.
changed mine because the one I was gonna pick was a big book, and now it's not a big book anymore, so I changed it back.
Well, you were the only one who read it, so
I know. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Faith. It was a one shot. Kind of filling the blanks in between Faith before she met up with the Buffy and all of them, and I thought it was really well done. The art was really nice in this book, and it was kind of an interesting story where you had all these people kind of putting her through the paces and training her, but she couldn't remember any of it. So like they were doing some kind of thing to make her forget every time, and so she didn't know who they were or how she kept ending up at this movie theater watching old movies and vampires attacking her. And then she starts remembering a little bit of it at a time. And it kind of led into her appearance in Buffy I think it was last issue or maybe the issue before that, where she finally came into the story. So it was I've been catching up on my Buffy stuff lately, and it was a nice tie-in to the series. So I enjoyed it. I know I'm the only one that reads it because, Kat, you dropped Buffy, right?
I had to, sadly.
Yeah,
there wasn't enough Cordelia for me to continue.
Yeah, it's a little heavy on there's 3 Slayers now and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And
It's only 25 issues in, but there's so many Slayers, so little time.
I know. It's crazy how much has happened, and Xander's a vampire and all this stuff.
Oh, my God. I was so far behind. I'm glad I didn't go back. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like everything happened so quickly, and there's no rhyme or reason for things that happen. So it's just, I had to drop it after a while.
Yeah, it was like several seasons worth in a very short period of time, just so they could get past that, I think, and move. I don't know. It was weird how rushed it was. Yeah.
I wish Dark Horse would have kept it.
It's better now. Like I read the past few issues, and they've I think it's settled down a little bit, so it's getting back to that, slower vibe, but who knows how it's going to go from here on.
All right, Kat, what was your under the radar this week if it wasn't Buffy?
Mine was not Buffy. It was Batman Harley Quinn White Knight. It's the wrong order, but yeah, this is a solid miniseries. It's not as strong as the regular White Knight stuff, but I like diving into the Harley Quinn, I guess, origins of her relationship with the Joker and even her relationship with Batman. And in this one of her hyenas die in the end of the issue, saving her kids. So I thought it was a pretty good cliffhanger. I like it when it focuses on Harley and, again, her personal journey more than the villain.
The main story.
Yeah, the main story, which is like kind of boring.
I think that's why I think I stopped reading it, because I didn't like the actual main part, like the bad guy. I just cared about Harley. That's all I cared about, that origin tale.
Yeah, totally get that. I think because I don't have 100 DC books on my pull list. I'm like, all right, I'll keep this one. It's also a maxi series. It's almost done as well. It's like a middle of the ground book. It's not like great, definitely not bad, but it's like, hey, you should pick it up if you're a Harley fan.
All right, so that was our Under the Radar. I'll pass it now to Mike, where we will be talking about our top 5 and big books.
Yeah, guys, that's right. This is where we talk about the big stuff that happened this week. And of course, once again, there are spoilers to be talked about here. So if you haven't read your books, well, too bad. We're about to spoil everything. So let's get started here. So first thing we're going to talk about is Future State, Dark Detective. This is issue 4. This is the conclusion. I got to ask, what did you guys think about the conclusion to this and the Dark Detective overall?
I thought it was solid. I liked it personally. I thought the Jason Todd stuff was a little slow, the secondary story, but I liked where they went with the daughter. I thought that was super interesting, and then she found out he was Batman by the end. I don't really know the point of the story. I think that's my only complaint. It's okay. And but I liked it. I think it's one of the stronger Future State books, and artwork was really good for the book as well.
Yeah, the artwork was really good, and it gives me hope for for that going forward for that team. But like you said, Kat, it's I don't know. It felt like an ongoing story. You know what I mean?
Where's the next issue? You want to know more?
Yeah, the first 3 issues were very decompressed. You know, you're building up this story, you're introducing these characters, and then that last issue was just okay, we're done. Let's cram it all in. So it was very abrupt, but I enjoyed it overall. I just don't think this was the strongest way to finish it for me. But I liked the overall. Again, like you said, I don't know what the point of the story is, but I like the way that he came up with this suit that was feeding all the information from the magistrate and all that stuff, and where that could possibly in our minds and our imaginations lead to down the line. So,
and did you like how it ended though? Building blows up, and you're like, "Oh, is Batman supposed to be dead here?" Because again, the whole place blew up, and he was inside it with Peacekeeper 1 in there.
Yeah,
I thought it was okay. I liked again the girl figuring out she was that he was Batman.
Yeah.
I think more than anything than the explosion.
Yeah, that was cool. I don't know if he's supposed to be dead or not, but either way,
right.
We're never going to find out. So
yeah, you're never going to find out.
It happened in that Robin Eternal book too. Where is he dead? Is he not dead?
That's true.
Oh, I'm in my hands in the lava or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Am I coming out? It's like a Terminator thing. You're waiting for the thumbs up or the.
You get nothing. I mean, maybe these stories will connect. You never know. I
don't know. I just think. I think when it comes down to it, when it comes to by the time I got to the end of Future State, I literally was. I was burnt out, and I just got to the point where I was like, I just don't care anymore. Not that it was bad or anything like that. I think it just got me to the point where it was like, okay. I just want to get to Detective Comics. I want to get to Tamaki's run. I want to get to Dan Moore doing the story that I'm going to read every single month, not something that's going to be a story arc, right? Yeah. So, and I agree with you guys. You guys made some good points there about the overall story. Decompressed issues for 3 issues, and then last one it's like, oh no, we got to finish it. Blow up a building, and you make a decision if he dies or lives. Basically what it is. So. But Future State Dark Detective, one of the better titles. We'll see what happens in the future with it. Jason Todd's story, personally, I thought was okay. I don't know. I can't get into that artwork for some reason. So
yeah, the artwork threw it off for me too. I did like what we assumed was he was taking orders from Batman. That's why he turned on everybody, kind of playing the part of a mole. So I like that they revealed that or somewhat revealed that, But
it didn't make me excited for that miniseries. I was actually debating of picking that up, and I'm like, do I need it? Not really.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
We'll see what happens. Depends on the week, right, Kat?
Oh yeah. If I'm getting 5 books, I'll have that Future State Gotham in my hand. If I'm getting 20, it's not there.
Yeah,
it ain't gonna be there.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about another big book that's happening in Image Comics. And this is Crossover issue 4. Crossover seemed to be another solid issue. Obviously, we get all these Easter eggs in this book, and it's a solid way to do a crossover without the book crossing over into all these other books. It goes into, it's like a main book, and it kind of pays tribute to books that happened in the past. I think that's a better way to do a crossover, because it's like you're not paying all these extra money for extra books, you know? So, and if you read it in the past, you read it in the past. And if you want to go back and read it, you can go back and read it. And so we had a big crossover moment in this book with, if you read God Country. So, and I thought that was really cool. But the overall story was a lot of fun. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the issue as well.
What, Chris?
No, I just said I have to catch up still.
That one's definitely one you should catch up on for sure.
Yeah.
It's on the list. It's on my list.
It amazes me how he pulled all this together. Like, he had to get the okay with all these creators to involve their characters and all this stuff, and just
he's got to have a lot of friends and places for that one.
Exactly, but it's so cool to watch. It's like, okay, all these characters that you've read, you know, if you've read them. I haven't read God Country yet. It is one of the books that we will be reading soon.
I wanted to say, like, oh, maybe we should have read it for this week, but I didn't want to spoil the issue for you guys. So I was like,
right.
And I knew you guys weren't going to read it until later in the weeks, but we'll get to it. We're going to get to that one because it will be one of our books.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just fun. It's fun seeing all these characters pop up. The paybacks were a nice treat. I actually did read that series, and then Madman. Everybody knows Madman, whether you read him or not.
Right.
And he had some prominent scenes in this issue. And then, of course, the whole tease that had to be explained to me, the person that hasn't read God Country yet. But after I got that, I was like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, it continues to keep taking us into different directions, and I'm excited to see how that's all going to play out, because we got some revelations about what's happening with the people that are inside the dome and outside the dome, and crossing over to their world and all this kind of stuff in this issue. So it's I don't know. There's a lot of ground still to cover and a lot of questions unanswered, but it's got me excited every time I read it.
It's crazy.
The God Country thing was definitely the most exciting, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy what happens in that dome, how that portal opens, and sometimes you get like heroes, or then you get villains, and then you don't know what's going to pour through there. But when you looked at that page, did you see all that stuff that was in there? Like, I think that was just like the Chitauri was like
Captain America shield, I think.
Like, there were so many things.
There's a lot of references.
Yeah.
There's a ton. Yeah.
It's so awesome, man. Great book. Awesome. Donny Cates, man. I don't know. He knows what he's doing, that's for sure. All right. So let's talk about another pretty emotional book, I would say. Doesn't really progress the plot at all, but it definitely...
when does that book ever progress plot?
But it definitely, I guess, maybe lifts the weight off of Peter's shoulders here, and really hints to what's going to happen maybe in the future. Amazing Spider-Man issue 60, right? So Peter just laying it all out on the line, man. I was just like, wow, that's intense. But by the time you wind up getting to the end of the issue, she's a liar, dude. She's lying to Peter about Mysterio and the whole situation.
Peter always lied to her. So, you know what, Mary Jane
make it right, Kat. Two wrongs don't make a right.
No, it makes it very right. Mary Jane just trying to protect Peter, as Peter is always trying to protect her. It's her time to shine.
No.
I didn't mind her at all. And just, if it wasn't for the end of the book, I was kind of bored by the issue, though.
The monologue,
there was a lot.
Well, the one thing I wanted to say, we'll go to the ending, but I want to talk about the monologue for a second, because if you're thinking from like a comic book writing perspective, that was really boring. Because visually, that was just not good. His facial expressions, like he's just like looking up in the sky for half the issue. He's just like doing nothing. And there's a way to make talking heads really interesting, and that was not the way. Whatever happened in that script, I just thought it was so cheesy, and I liked the stuff he had to say. I liked that that's done. Yeah. But I really didn't like how it looked. It just looked so weird.
I would rather that have been like narration played over something else that was going on, or like flashbacks or something. Or talking
to Mary Jane, just having a conversation with each other would have been a much more interesting visual than whatever was going on there.
Yeah, I didn't care for it at all, and it took me.
It's a Mark Bagley issue. It's a Mark Bagley issue. Why waste all that on?
His art wasn't as strong in this issue. There's times where like faces weren't, fully drawn.
Because he probably hated doing it. He probably was like, this is all I have to do the entire time is draw Peter's face over and over again.
There is a comment from Tevia who disagrees with me. But the reason I'm not saying that the monologue was bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that comics is a visual medium, and you always have to think about how can you make your artist flex a muscle. How can this look interesting? If you wanted to do monologue like that, you write a novel, not a comic book. So that's all. Not the words didn't annoy me. It was just the way it was done.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, what he said, I felt that it was needed. It was something that he needed to get out there. Yeah, because he's been angry for a while, so he needed a release, and I get that. I understand that completely. But it was just, like you said, the way it was laid out, it was just not fun to read. It was not interesting. Yeah.
Because, again, with like you guys said, what goes with comics is dialogue and visuals. And when you read, you like to watch at the same time. Watching Peter do nothing the entire time for the entire book was not exciting. His words meant something. Like Kat said, his words mean something. So as a Peter Parker fan, you appreciated what he had to say. Artistically, the way it was delivered, it just wasn't there.
Exactly.
So, right? And so, but by the time you got to the end... Yeah. By the time you got to the end of it, sorry, Chris.
No.
And by the time you got to the end of it, and you wind up seeing, Mephisto and everything, there is like, okay, finally, there's some excitement there. And will we get those answers anytime soon?
No.
No, of course not. Not in this hard.
Issue 200.
Not in this run.
Issue 200. It'll come out. Yeah.
I mean, it took us 50 some odd issues to get Kindred, right? So.
Exactly. No, it's not gonna happen. I think Mark Bagley's artwork was weaker because we only had the talking heads. It was a waste of having Mark Bagley on this issue for sure. I agree. It could have been visually a lot better, but that ending, I knew it was going to be Doctor Strange. I called this years ago. I said if anyone was going to figure something out, it was going to be Doctor Strange, and it was going to. I had a feeling. I knew it.
As far as Bagley's artwork, we've seen him not as strong in this run before, and I think it's because it comes out so often that they're having to work really fast, and also the content, like we talked about in this particular issue. He
out of all the artists that have done Spider-Man, he has done the most issues.
Of course.
Out of all of them, it's supposed to be Gleason and him and Bagley. And for some reason, it continues to be more Bagley than any other artist that's been on this run since Nick Spencer has done it. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on there when it comes to the Spider-Man office on why Bagley tends to do all the issues when this book comes out as often as it does. And, and he can pretty much do Spider-Man in his sleep. So that's why it's like, oh, okay, Bagley, you can do it, man.
Yeah, you need to crap out another Spider-Man story, man. Yes. Okay, not saying it's crap. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant
It's very quick that he has to work on, and you can tell.
Yeah, you can, and it's like back in the old day, they would take all kinds of shortcuts, in those original comics, and you could repeated panels and that kind of thing. And I would assume, having to work that fast, you're probably, going as quick as you possibly can, trying to, get the minimal amount of detail that you can on there. And it's right. I don't know. It didn't do justice to his abilities.
Yeah, he was probably like, oh, I got to draw Peter Parker with a face. I could draw the same face, but just move his eyeballs around the whole time. That's easy.
Copy and paste.
Yeah, right. All right, let's move on now. Let's talk about our first main book here when it comes to our countdown. So our number 5 book. My number 5 book is, you're going to be surprised at this one because I think it has good potential. Ooh. And this one is House of L.
Oh, really?
I had a very different opinion on that.
Wow.
I actually did read it. Yeah.
So if this book was a regular series, I would love to see this book, because this is a book that is something different that we have not seen from a Superman series before. It's different from just plain old Superman, Lois, Jimmy, all those other characters. I would love to see this book happen in the future with all these different Supermen, all these different characters. And you could explore the shit out of these characters. I would love to see that. So the concept was really good, I felt. I love the artwork. I thought the artwork was really good too. However, you had one issue to tell the story. And by inserting all these characters, you couldn't really get attached to any of these characters, and it just felt rushed. And that was the disappointment of it. But I saw kind of what they were trying to do with it, and I felt like this really had potential. And I feel like this is something that could come out in a Omniverse world, a story, Elseworld story, whatever we want to call it these days.
So.
I could see that. I really could.
Especially with the Superman that was taken, like I forgot what the name of the guy was that Superman took away at the end that he said had great potential, but he wasn't.
That was
doing
a
it
son.
the right way.
That was another one of his son. Yeah,
son of by magic. Cersei created him or whatever.
Right.
It was okay. So there were some interesting things about it. Definitely Cersei locking Superman away somewhere. I'd like to know that story and why and how this other son got created and what, and like this whole society of people that basically have taken on his name and his ideals and everything, but they don't even know if he's real. I thought that those parts were very interesting, and some of those characters were really strong. Like I think her name was Theandra or whatever it was. I really liked her character because she was like, I don't know if she was like just full Tamaranian or if she was like half Tamaranian, half Kryptonian, or
it was whatever. Hard to get all of what was going on in there.
Yeah, because her dad was a Kent from Earth, so it's like, okay. So I would love to have those blanks filled in, but if it was a story where they were constantly in this war with the Red King and all this stuff, I would be bored by that. So I think there's potential. I agree with you that there's potential to tell some stories with those characters somewhere, but I wouldn't want to read more of that particular story.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying there. I was talking about the characters, all those characters in that House of L. I would love to learn about that. Like you had a Blue Lantern Superman. That's awesome. Like that is really cool to explore. I would love to learn more about that character.
Yeah.
So
it was not my flavor for any games, but it was so much. It was just like every other Future State thing where it's just like, here's a random story we're gonna throw you in, and I did not like that as much. And also, I'm not a huge Superman fan, as you guys know, so wasn't my thing.
I agree. I mean, I'm just looking like if you're looking for a different type of Superman story, that I think is where it would be completely different, something that you're not used to.
Yeah.
Definitely agree.
All right. So that was my number 5. I'll go with Kat. What was your number 5? Since it wasn't House of L, oh my God.
It was not House of L. That was my least favorite book of the week. But it was Batman, Harley Quinn, which we already talked about.
All right. Brett, what was yours?
Mine we already talked about as well. Stray Dogs, actually.
Oh,
mine too.
Awesome.
Mine too.
Sweet. So. Awesome. Very good. Stray Dogs. Can't wait for it. Still got to pick up last week's comic books for me, so maybe they'll still have one on the rack when I go there tomorrow. Oh, but sorry. Next week's books are delayed too, so I'm not getting those either.
Which ones are delayed? So for me, this never happens. Mine's DC Comics. I'm not getting until Thursday or Friday, which I'll get the week after. But I'm only getting 3 DC Comics, so it's fine.
Right.
But,
my Marvel and Independents are delayed again because of Diamond. It's Diamond. My comic book shop owner sent me a message, and he's just like, yeah, they're just having a whole backlog of stuff and they can't get caught up, and it could be several weeks of where it's going to be delayed.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I think this particular week's books might be only like 1 day delayed. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm just so frustrated. It ruins my
Diamond's
whole
just
schedule.
crumbling. What's going
Mhm.
on?
Yeah. It ruins my whole like
Dude.
video schedule. You know, I can't produce the
Yeah, it
way
would
I
ruin a
want
whole
to produce because I
Right.
can't read the things when
Yeah.
I want to read it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
That sucks.
but yeah, it does. It's definitely upsetting, and I don't know. I think the comic industry as a whole needs to do something about distribution. I think it
agree.
definitely is time for a change. You know, I heard Scout though wound up signing with Lunar, not
Yeah.
exclusively,
Not
but they
exclusive,
did sign with them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're using that as another option. They're doing great with because they're also part of that other one too. I forget. Do you know what it's called, Brant? The one that's is the third
is it-
option.
UCS or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So they're doing all the options, which is really cool to get that available. I wish more companies would be that open to make sure comic book stores get their books.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even necessarily even for us, you know, but for the comic book shops, they're the ones that got to sell these books. And if people get frustrated without getting their books on time, they're just going to be like, you know what, forget it.
I'll read it online, or
I'll read it online. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a sad thing, man. All right, so let's move on now. Let's talk about another Future State book. Future State Aquaman issue 2. So this is another. I actually liked these 2 issues of this story in general. I think it was a great story about a journey. You know,
it actually had a story, beginning, middle, and end, which was so nice.
Yeah, it did. You know, and how many years she went, finding him, and I thought it was kind of cool. It wasn't a bad read at all. It was really quite interesting.
So new reader friendly, which I really enjoy. Like you guys know, I really don't like Aquaman that much, but this was very easy to get into because it was about their friendship or even their family dynamic in a way.
Yeah.
So, and that by the end, it's also like, will Andy cross the line? Will she kill someone? And it's like some really interesting themes. The artwork is drop dead gorgeous for the book as well. I really liked it. I did like the first issue a little tiny bit more than this issue, but I still thought this was a really good ending. And if you're going to get any of the Future State books, I'd say this and Justice League. They're the only ones that felt like at a beginning, middle, and end. And if it never happened and we never get to see this again, it's okay because it really did feel like a full story.
Yeah, the only downside is that I want more stories with grown up Andy.
Same.
That's
my problem with it. It's like, man, I want this. And
she would make you want to read an Aquaman book.
I would 100% read Aquaman, but I would rather have them as an Aquaman book than Aquaman. But
and
or at
and
least
the same thing
part
with,
of it.
Yeah, and the same thing with Justice League. I really like the Justice League with Yara and John and all those characters, Andy and so forth. So,
you want more.
Pretty cool.
At least you don't need more. Like Dark Detective, you kind of needed more. This one,
true.
you just want more.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad I got back Future State ended. So this week's books, I'm not worried. It's all new arcs, new everything for DC. I could jump right back in nice and comfortably.
Yeah.
No, you'll be all set for sure.
Absolutely. All right. So next, let's talk about a book that's been like a year in the making.
Another book.
X-Men issue 18. So obviously our X-Men heroes wind up coming or in the vault. You get to see what was going on in the vault. But it wasn't, nothing really happened. It was actually, it's like I really wanted to like this book and it was just kind of okay. It was like nothing special. They come across those kids inside that vault and it's just like they wind up getting killed and then she's like, you'll pay for this, and the whole place is exploding at the end, but nothing really happened.
But the next issue will have more. It's like, what about this issue?
This whole issue felt like, hey, my name's this whole issue felt like, hey, my name's Sync. Remember me? This is what I do. And this is what I can do now. That's what the whole issue was for me. And it was just, I was really kind of disappointed because I've been waiting so long to see Laura again. And,
me too.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm hoping that
Okay.
I just hope that the next issue will progress that story plot a little bit and more.
Yeah.
And I really want to see, I guess maybe the key thing is what happens when they get out of it.
Mhm.
And how they
They're gonna be
possibly
old.
change and that's what I'm looking forward to. I just feel like, why did Hickman wait so long to tell this story just for that?
I
Right.
guess X of Swords was a part of it. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, maybe I would hope that when he wrote this first issue, he has that portion of the story
I'm
already
sure
written
he
out,
does,
and he
yeah.
wants to know
Yeah,
what he,
surely. Yeah.
and not like, oh God, I got to revisit this. Place explodes, and that's it
Well,
for
you know,
right now.
everything that went on with COVID delaying things, and then the events going on. Who knows? This story could have or might have been scheduled to come out half a year ago, for all we know.
Yeah, one thing I'll say with Hickman, whether you like him or not, the dude's a detailed guy. He's got plans. You know, he always he always comes back to the threads that he leaves and that kind of thing. So I will give him that. So I'm sure there's a plan for this. I just, whether we like the way it goes or not is a different story. So.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's move on to number 4. And Chris, what was your number 4 this week?
Spawn 315. Love the artwork, and it makes me want to go back and read several Spawn books. So it delivered.
Sweet. All right, Brant, what was your number 4?
Mine was King in Black: Return of the Valkyries, number 3. I don't know. I don't think this was the strongest issue of this series so far, but there were a lot of cool things that happened. What's her name? Brunhild? Is that her name? The one that
I don't know any of their names besides Jane.
I don't know. One of them's Hilda something. One of them's Brune something. I don't know. Whichever
I don't know
one.
nothing about King in Black.
Whichever one was the one that had the monologue talking about there's 2 ways to leave a battle: an exit strategy or death, and this is the other kind of that woman. I like that story. I like that, she went in there knowing that, she's probably not coming out of that, but she had a job to do to get that thing for Jane to catch the other end or whatever of the needle. I thought that part of the story was really interesting. I still want to know more about that other character that we still don't know her name, and she's still not involved in this whole story at all. She's just kind of off doing her own thing. But I still like her, and I want her to be more involved. But yeah, it was a solid issue, and just some good stuff with that one part, with that one character that I can't remember her name.
I feel like this is such a weird arc because I feel like it's such a because they're waiting for the next series because it has to tie into King of Black. And my biggest issue, and obviously I love Valkyries and I love Jane, but there's too many characters. It's just like I just want to focus on one thing, and it's just like too adventure heavy and not very character driven, which Jane's character and Jane's series has been very character driven up to this point. So it's kind of weird to see that she's taken a backseat in her own story.
Yeah, and I get that too, and I assume that this character in this side story is going to be prominent later on.
Yeah, then I think it's only them 2 in the next series.
Yeah.
So that will give a little bit breathing room, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So that was Brant. So, Kat, what was yours?
Mine was Spider-Man. We already talked about it.
Spider-Man. All right. And then my number 4 was... What did I have for my number 4? I got my things all mixed up. I don't even know. I have it all out of order. I'll get back to you eventually. Let's just move on. I don't know how I missed it. Okay, let's move on because I have it out of order and it's messed up. So
the next book, I think only me and Brant read, so you can figure out your ordering as we probably talk about that book.
Yeah, that's true.
Which one? Oh, Magnificent
Miss
Marvel.
Marvel.
Yeah. Go ahead, talk about that.
You go first, Brant.
Okay, so yeah, last issue. I thought it was a good story. I wanted a little more to happen, but I felt like this issue repaired a lot of things with the supporting cast, especially
very quickly,
very quickly.
I
quickly.
don't mind because Zoe is amazing, and I guess I liked how they do it, but I'm just like, oh, Kamala should definitely be more upset than she was.
Yeah, I mean, after battling the evil robot and everything, I guess she was just like, yeah, I need to chill. I don't know, but that might have happened after, right? It threw me off the way it was laid out.
I think it happened
you're right.
after.
Yeah, because she left to dance. Yeah, but no, it was. If you're going to wrap it up though and move forward, I'm glad that they at least addressed that situation.
Why introduce it?
That's true. I agree.
That was the last issue, and it's just like, what did they not know they were going to get canceled? I think that's
possibly.
I think they did not know.
Yeah, and that seems likely. So they wanted to wrap everything up for the next person to take that thread or whatever. Wherever that story goes. Because they just say she's going to continue in Champions, right? It's not like they're coming out with another volume.
I feel like, she has a TV show coming up. I'm sure in the next, kind of like the Spider-Gwen-esque thing, they'll happen soon. Like they'll probably be announced in the next couple of months that there'll be something. But I agree. I thought it was a good way to end it. I, as you know, haven't liked this volume that much, but I thought this was one of the better stories. And actually, I do with the friends, which is cool. But I'm very excited for a new chapter for Miss Marvel.
Yeah, no, I agree with you too. I just, I like that they wrap things up and address certain things, and that she's getting along better with her parents, and they're not being as hard on her, and that kind of thing. Just it felt more familiar, this issue, than it has in a while. So
they're just like, they also swept Outlaw under the rug. They're like, remember when that happened? Whatever.
Yeah, the only reference was, you're the girl from TV? Yeah. So, okay.
All right.
Did you figure it out, Mike?
Yeah. I just I had to write everything down when we came on real quick, and I just wrote them out of order for some dumb reason. But it was Wolverine, issue 10. So that was my number 4, and I enjoyed it because we got to see Wolverine team up with Maverick in the issue. Maverick regains his memory, and Wolverine and Maverick work together, kind of like the old days. Maverick is trying to recruit Wolverine back into the team, and Wolverine is trying to recruit. Did I say that right? Maverick's trying to recruit Wolverine to his team, and Wolverine is trying to recruit Maverick to Krakoa and saying, hey, this is a good place here, bub. You got to come here. Maverick's like, dude, you're going soft. Why are you living with these people like this? And it's kind of cool to see them really interact with each other and do a mission together. And I thought it was a lot of fun. This particular 2-3 issues have been great, right? And now we're going to get another issue or no new story arc. And like I said last time, I think it has to do with vampires. So, but these issues were good. And the artwork was really fantastic in this book too.
I hope more people tell Logan he's soft just because he doesn't belong on Krakoa. I kind of agree with Maverick. Maybe get him to break away.
I disagree because I think he's been wanting peace and quiet for a long time. He just hasn't been able to find it.
Krakoa's a drug. That's all it really is.
It definitely is a drug.
This was my number 6. I read this on your recommendation, Mike. I thought issue 9 was a stronger issue. I really liked that issue. You're right. That was a really good issue.
Yeah, that one was better.
Yeah, yes, it was so good, and the layouts of the art in that issue too. With they did this thing where it was like 16 panel grids, and they had like this one image, and then they would cut into the image with certain panels.
Yeah,
it was really cool. But this issue was decent as well. I think I liked where it could possibly lead more than the actual story in the issue, though, because it's like he's got a decision. Does he team up with the CIA, or does he? Is he loyal to Logan?
Right.
Are they going to come in conflict later on? Which I think is what's going to happen. So that it can be very interesting, foreshadowing for things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely plants seeds in there for the future. I just wish we continued that story a little bit longer. But what it does do, though, is that it makes me continue the series. I have faith in this series now. So even though maybe we're diving back into vampires, it might be a decent story going forward. Maybe now it's kind of found its footing, where in the beginning I felt like it was a little bit slow. and not so interesting. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes, because I was like you. I was on the verge to drop it. We got that tease with Maverick in that first issue, and it was just like he wasn't even there, and it was like, come on, man. So we'll see where it goes from here, and if I will continue to read it going forward.
We also have a question from BJ, if you want to answer that. He says, what's your thoughts on variant covers for every issue and scalpers in general, I guess? Variant covers, I mean, as like a comic book writer, I think they're great, and I think they make sense to me, right? Like, I love seeing different artists tackle a character. The scalper stuff, I don't know, it's just like anything. It ruins it, but it's not something we can control, and at least it's like, I guess at least it's bringing interest, right? Like, at least people want to buy comics. So anything that makes you want to buy comics is good, and I don't know. It's hard because, like, let's say a regular comic book buyer wants to get the Punchline variant. They can't get it because a scalper does it. But if you're going to the right comic book shop, they're not going to sell it to a scalper. They're going to sell it to their customers. So that's on the comic book shop.
Yeah, that's true. Like you said, as a creator, it's really cool because, you get cool different artists to draw your characters and maybe artists that some of your readers really like, and they'll get that cover, and that's good business, right? From that perspective of it, it's really good business to do it that way. But from a fan perspective too, it's like, if you really like cool art, like I know Mike buys a bunch of J. Scott Campbell covers because he loves J. Scott Campbell art. So if there's J. Scott Campbell, I can't say his name 3 times, J. Scott Campbell variants out there, Mike's probably going to get them. And it's the same thing with Art Germ and different creators. So every single issue, I agree, is maybe a bit much, but you
don't have to get them.
Yeah, you don't have to get them. Just get the cover that you want, or the standard cover. You don't have to buy them.
I think my issue is like, why do we need so many of them? Like, there's some books that have like 20 variant covers, and like, that's over excessive. Like, that's ridiculous. And then you have the 1 in 25s or the 1 in 50s where you got to make comic shops buy a ton of issues in order to get that particular cover, and then they have to charge a lot of money. I think that's where I have the issue with with it.
Is the price tag. But then, like, coming from the creator perspective, you understand, because, like, okay, there's less of those variant covers, and then also, just going into comic business for a second, like, for, like, let's say you sell your book for $5, you're not making a lot of profit, right? If you can make a variant cover and sell it for $30 or whatever, and you print less or whatever, you're making a much bigger profit.
Right.
So honestly, it makes more sense. You're already like really not making too much on floppies. So I think as a comic book creator, it makes sense. And
absolutely. Yeah, from a business perspective, it absolutely makes perfect sense. It's And it goes back to what I said last week too. As long as people are buying them, they're going to make them, and that's the bottom line with anything. But also, from a creator's perspective, it becomes a little addictive too. When I can't speak for like Marvel and DC, but like on the lower level, it becomes a little addictive. It's like, oh, I'm going to add another cover because I really like this artist, so I'm going to approach that artist. And I was actually talking to Miney Cat's friend Will the other day. He was like, I'm really thinking about doing another variant for issue 2. He's like, he already has a couple, and he's like, I'm thinking about adding another one. And it's just, you're fans of the medium, you're fans of art, and it's really hard not to be like, I want everybody to draw my stuff, so.
Yeah.
And if there's a lot of variant covers, I feel like it's not really affecting many people. Like, it's honestly affecting more Marvel and DC if those people don't buy those variant covers. Yeah. So, like, I don't... the comic book stores, again, it's on the comic book store. If that really leaves a gap for Scout or, Boom not to have a space, then that's on them. They need to give the space to indies and promote those books better. Or maybe it's on the audience. I don't know. Or maybe it's on Boom. Maybe it's on Scout. But I don't think having a lot of variants affects anything. I really don't. I know it's like always such a hot topic, but like, it only like helps the industry, in all honesty.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Dynamite, I always notice they go to like letter R or Q when it comes to their covers for Lady Sonya.
And they're obviously making money on it.
And they're making more. Yeah, and the covers are gorgeous. I mean, if you've seen the covers from Dynamite, they are beautiful covers.
Yeah. So,
all right. Good question.
Very
So
good.
that leaves us with, where are we at now?
We did Miss Marvel. We're on number 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're on number 3. We're on giving our number 3s, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So my number 3 is actually Scumbag, issue 4. Is that where we're at? 5.
5. Yeah.
5. Yeah. So I like this issue as well because we got to see our Scumbag make his decision if basically he wanted to stay with the light side or if he wanted to go to the dark side. And by the time he wound up getting to the end of the issue, I thought it was he made the right choices in order to do what he had to do. And it was the first time where he actually got to really unlock his true potential, his powers. I thought was really neat. And then the main bad guys are kind of like, you found out the plot on how they created this this low cost fuel. You found out what they did to the people. They basically sucked them up and said that they had a job, and they threw them into this pit, and that's how they created this efficient fuel that's low cost. It was an interesting story, man. It is really good, though. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it.
There's a ton of twists and turns. To get to see Secret Agent's dad in this issue. But yeah, the thing I really enjoyed was that you dig a little deeper into Scumbag's character, Ernie, where you kind of understand why he's a scumbag. And in the end, the agent who hates him is like, I'm sorry for calling you a scumbag, but you find out like the reason all this badness is happening is because of him. So even though he like was the hero for the day, he's only trying to fix his own mistakes in a way. So he's still a scumbag.
Yeah, it's a good book, man. I love it. It's totally off the wall, something completely different, but it's grown on me a lot. So we'll see where it goes from here, right? Because it's an ongoing series, right? And this is basically finish the first story arc. Is that where I'm thinking at?
I think so. Let me see when the next issue comes out.
Because it looks like it finished that first story arc from what I gathered there.
It did, but also it comes out next month. So either way, the next issue comes out next month, which is always good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a good book.
Yep. All right.
We
so
also
Kat,
have oh yeah.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say you go next.
So I'll go, and then I'll. There was a question, so we could answer the question after I go. Mine was Dark Detective. We already talked about it. So moving into the question, which is Terry Vaughn, any standout new artists or writers on the rise? That's a really interesting question. Any standouts, writers or artists? I feel like it's because of the DC Future State, maybe some from there. I'm trying to think if there's any I really like. I don't know.
It's hard. At the top of my head, I couldn't tell you right now. I think we're also too early in the year. Mm-hmm. Not enough has come out yet to really make that judgment quite yet either.
Yeah, it's hard to do off the top of your head. I
mean, I know like Peach Momoko is real popular with her artwork, but she's doing her first story with Demon Days that's getting ready to come out from X-Men.
Yeah.
I want to see how that story turns out, like how her writing is. Never read anything from her, so we'll see how that turns out. So she could be that new writer as well. And then you made a perfect example there, Kat, with all the new DC titles coming out. We're yet to see how the writers are over there as well.
At the end of the year, we always do a best of the year, and we do have a new creator segment. It's a little easier to break it down when you're kind of looking at a whole list and a whole year, like Mike said. So we'll figure it out then.
Yeah, I'm just terrible on the spot thinking like that. So.
Yeah, it is hard. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll probably be like, I should have said this person or that person later.
Yeah, exactly. Like 2 days later passes. Oh, that's it right there.
Yeah,
exactly. Or girl.
Yeah. All right. So, Brett, what's your number 3?
My number 3, and before I say this, I'm going to say that I wasn't in love with any of my books this week.
Me either.
Yeah, okay. So my number 3 is Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Finally, the last issue of this arc, which I'm thankful for. But it was a fun one. It was you had some really cool action scenes, of course, but you had some nice moments with kind of wrapping up the characters and Jessica giving her life so Carol can go home and that kind of thing. So little character beats here and there that I appreciated. But really, I'm thrilled to be moving forward and seeing how things progress from here. And then when she got back, that whole conversation with Rhodey, like, I met your daughter, so we can't be together now. And it's like, what? And so, I mean, that was a very interesting way to leave that relationship hanging there. So
I kind of like that moment though, because it shows, because I saw Kelly Thompson actually tweeted about that. It's like, some people are angry that she did that. And I was like, no, I like that because it shows that there were consequences of going to this future and realizing, okay, well, if that girl was cool, I want her to exist. But if we're still together, that girl won't exist. So, you know, I'm going to end things. But maybe because she went to the future, that's why this is happening. I thought it left some interesting threads. It was my number 6. You know, it was a good ending to a kind of mediocre arc. But artwork was good. And I'm looking forward to seeing where the series will go.
Exactly.
I didn't get a chance to read this one, so it's good to hear that Carol wound up going home finally. So that's
she
good.
did. The big moment really was that ending. Everything else, you know, you probably can skip this issue and be okay.
Gotcha. What
I didn't spoil everything.
Now? Does she still have these powers, or
she does?
She does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha. What does it leave with a cliffhanger at all? Of what's to come next, or?
Just the Rhodey thing.
Yeah, and this is a spoiler, but Namor's son did succeed in going back in the past, so we don't know what the repercussions of that are.
I don't want to see him again.
Yeah. He's gonna be like, God, you're alive. Let's rule the world together. And Kat will be like, no, I'm slicing your head off and your head off again.
I hope so. I hope that's what ends up happening in the first issue he appears, is that they just both die and I get to witness it.
All right, Chris, we're going to move on to you. What was your number 3?
Amazing Spider-Man. We already talked about it.
All right. Okay, so next, we already talked about the Valkyries. We talked about Scumbag. So we're going to just jump on to our number 2 and our number 1s because we talked about Wolverine as well. So my number 2 this week was actually Black Cat issue.
Mine too.
Whatever it was.
3.
Issue 3 of the King in Black series. So this is great because this is, with great power comes great responsibility, but for Black Cat. And she had to turn down all this possible power, because if she wound up getting all this power in her hands, she could have done something which was much worse than what was going on in King in Black at that particular time. And seeing her go down that road through like her trauma and everything, I thought was absolutely outstanding. And I loved how they used, you know, Black Fox as just like a face that she can recognize into whoever she was talking with that entity, you know. This is a really good issue, and it just gets me excited for the Black Cat series once again. This was awesome book.
Yeah, and I also loved, and again, this was also my number 2. I also loved what brought her out of that, what made her make that ultimate decision that entity, whatever, offered, you know, basically all the men that she wanted would be slaves to her, right? And she's like, wait a minute, no, I want real love and connection. No, I'm not taking that. So I thought that was really cool that was the thing that snapped her out of it. Not, you know, obviously she wanted her, you know, her family back and all these riches and power and all that stuff. But when it came to actual connection with people, you can't substitute that. So I appreciated that part of her character shining through.
Right. And I appreciate that. I think Jed McKay is doing a really nice job at giving Felicia a great personality, adding more layers to the character instead of being just Peter's ex-girlfriend or this sexy, you know, anti-hero, you know, and I really appreciate that. So great stuff there. So, all right, Kat, what was your number 2?
Mine was Aquaman. We already talked about it.
What about you, Chris?
Superman, House of L, Future State.
Nice. All right, so then we'll just jump on to our number ones, and my number one was actually crossover. So
Mine too, actually.
And Chris, what was your number one?
Generations, is it Reforged or Forge? Generation Forge,
Just
the one shot. It's Forge. I liked it. I like how they grabbed Cal. First of all, Dominus, not seeing him in forever. I hated him as a villain for Superman because the 2 story arcs we had, he altered Superman's reality so like wonky. It was weird. But seeing him as like the main focal point, all characters being pulled out of all different time periods, and how they have to team up to fight him. At first, they're teaming up to survive, then they team up to fight him, and then they all go back to their own respective places. I honestly, only Kat would be able to answer this or give like a hint towards it. I wonder if this leads a little bit to Frontier.
I didn't read Forged, so I can't tell you. But yeah, so I don't know. But Infinite Frontier is more of short stories leading into their future titles. So like, oh, this is going to happen in Superman. This is going to happen in Batman. This is going to happen here.
Gotcha. Okay, never mind. Okay. I liked it though. I like Superboy team up with Steel, and I don't know. I enjoyed that story a lot too. That part of the story. So it was nice seeing that the generation still exists.
I feel like Generations and Infinite Frontier were the 2 different avenues DC was going to take. I really think Generations was the leftovers of 5G. And then they're like, no, we're going to do Infinite Frontier instead. So I don't even know if Generations will really have much.
Right.
Okay. Fair enough. It was a good standalone for me then.
Sweet. All right. And then Kat, what was your number one?
Mine was Scumbag. We already talked about it.
All right. Cool. So there we have it. There are our top 5. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Fowler. And you're going to be talking about what we're most anticipating next week.
Yeah, nothing to chop this week, surprisingly. So we got a lot of most anticipated. I left them because we had a light news week.
There's a lot of issue ones too.
Yeah, there's a lot of
That's
issue
a good
ones.
thing for me.
Yeah.
It is. The one thing I want to say as we're getting into most anticipated, I'm actually only getting like 9 books tomorrow because a lot of the issue ones I don't like care about them.
Okay.
You know, so like Crime Syndicate. I'm not getting that. You know,
How dare you? That's like my most anticipated out of all of them.
Chris put 3 X's on that one.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're gonna have to tell me how it is, Chris, because I'm not reading it.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk about that one, Chris.
What do you have? What's wrong with Crime Syndicate?
They're boring.
They're not boring.
That's it.
All right.
That's
So,
my answer.
so why are you anticipating them, Chris?
I'm excited because I don't know. I've enjoyed the miniseries that we have with Crime Syndicate in the past, and I'm interested in seeing if we're getting a rewrite because I mean, obviously, this isn't the Crime Syndicate from the New 52 crossover. This is more of a modernized Crime Syndicate again. So I don't know. I like reading stories about the Justice League from the alternate world. That's the evil version of the Justice League. I don't know. I enjoy it, so I'm looking forward to seeing what story we're going to get told. Okay,
I felt like you for me, and maybe it's the same for you, Kat, but I felt like in what was that event? Was it
Forever Evil?
Forever Evil.
Yeah, Forever Evil. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, I felt like that was like the ultimate story you can tell with the Crime Syndicate.
You know what? I was thinking the exact same thing. When I think of the Crime Syndicate,
come back again.
No, but what I'm thinking of is that
like Power Ring and Jessica Cruz was in that.
But you could not write them any better than the way they were written in that series. That's what that was their pinnacle.
Yeah, exactly.
I also just don't like villain stories that much. So I'm just like, and also is this going to connect to any of the other stuff? So it's just like, I don't know. It feels like kind of like a throwaway. I might be completely wrong. It might really connect to some other series, but like, why do we need it? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I'm glad you're excited for it, Chris, and look forward to your thoughts on it.
Feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Another one Chris is excited for that I'm not. Transformers Beast Wars. Only because
I marked it down because I didn't read issue 1. I marked it down.
Okay.
I didn't read issue 1 still.
Okay, so
I gotta
Mike
catch
and I
up.
read issue 1, and we had this whole discussion about it.
Please
it just
tell me,
wasn't.
because it could take the X off now. How bad is it?
Well, I don't think you're gonna like the art for one. I don't know. It didn't do it justice for me or Mike. You may feel differently, so I
already
don't
know what happens.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
don't have to read the issue.
Yeah, I don't want to discourage you from trying it.
Yeah,
by any
I'll
means.
look
So
at issue 1 now. Now you have.
but if you're expecting the artwork to be like the TV series, it's not going to be like that.
No.
It's not
I'm
even
expecting
close.
like the comic book.
Yeah, well, it's
a little more cartoony than the comic too.
Yeah.
It's definitely a different.
Take the X off.
You should go look it up yourself and make your decision based on that.
Right,
it just wasn't my thing. I was a little disappointed, but that's me.
Okay.
Let's go more positive. Let's talk Batman 106, which is probably the biggest. That's the one all of us marked.
Yes,
I already read the issue. So
yeah,
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the first cameo appearance of what's her name, Molly.
She actually has a bigger appearance in that. She like talks in it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Miracle Molly.
That's what it is.
It's a good setup issue. There's not anything like huge that happens. I'll say that, but it sets up for where it's going.
Sure. Okay.
I'm excited for just the regular Batman series to return.
Yeah, that's what was cool about the issue is that it's finally back, right? And it gets you back in the groove. And you're like, okay, fine, like cool. Future State's done.
I'm hoping the debut of Miracle Molly or the first appearance of Miracle Molly isn't going to be. I mean, Punchline. Everybody went crazy for that comic, and are we even talking?
I don't think anyone is. Well, people are definitely talking about Punchline still, but I don't think anyone's talking about this character because I didn't hear. anyone was like, "Oh, I gotta go to the comic book store."
Yeah, exactly. I think people know that this is her first appearance, but this is not hype like Punchline.
Yeah.
When you look at Punchline and you first saw her, your first thing was Harley Quinn's arch rival, Joker's new girlfriend. Like, that created a lot of buzz. Miracle Molly's just some other character that Tynion has created, you know?
It almost puts in your mind, oh, they're trying to, strike lightning twice here. That's what it feels like. So it's like it doesn't feel as important. But
his goal is to create as many characters as possible in this run. When you think about it,
honestly, I'm cool with. I want to see new characters, and they all seem very different, which is nice too. So I think that's a better direction. Why his series has succeeded is because it's not another Two-Face story.
Well, he's being original.
Yeah, being original.
Right. Yeah, much like 100%. Scott Snyder with the Court of Owls when he first,
oh yeah.
And even if you didn't like Jim Gordon as Batman, like the story he did with Bruce with that, because he wasn't Batman, and like he had a girlfriend, and he was happy. It was kind of a little bit of a different story as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like Nightwing with his amnesia. Nobody liked that either, and now we're all happy he's back.
Well, I would say the complete opposite.
that Nightwing, that was bad. That was pretty bad, that series.
Yeah. You guys mentioned earlier Demon Days, X-Men #1 coming out. I wasn't actually planning on getting this because I didn't love they did like a little tease. I forget where it was, but recently there was like a little tease of it somewhere.
Well,
I think it was in the Venom issue.
Yeah,
was it?
It's because I don't like Psylocke. So like, why am I gonna?
Well, I love Psylocke, but it's like
you don't like the way she's drawn in that issue, though.
Well, it's just I don't know what this is supposed to be. It takes place in like feudal Japan or something. I don't know what this is. Yeah. So it's like that's cool.
I think it's gonna be a unique book, an acquired taste. It might be, but again, this is something that's new for Momoko, and this is something that even if you don't like it, I think it's a cool issue to have in your collection because this is the first issue that she's writing, and it's a cool thing.
Yeah, and Momoko's blowing up right now. I get it. So, that's cool. All right, Star Wars High Republic #3. First issue was really good. Second issue was okay. So I'm a little nervous about this one, but I'm still enjoying the story.
I need to read all three.
You haven't read it? Okay. Are you going to catch up for this week, or are you going to read it another time?
I'm going to try my hardest for this book to catch up.
Yeah. Issue 1's not too long of a read. Issue 2 is a little bit more convoluted, but yeah, I think you'll be able to.
Yep.
So, I'm hoping it's more issue 1 and less issue 2. So we'll see. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you of it being convoluted. The characters' names all sound the same to me. And so it's like when you have a brand new book and you're introducing characters, why do their names all got to sound the same? It's bad enough that they're all Jedi to begin with and they're all called Master or whatever it is. Then you're going to put the same flipping similar names together and you're just like, oh my God. And we had so much focused on the reptilian master, whoever he was. I forget his name now.
Yeah, I can't remember either now.
But we had so much focus on him. And we had so little focus on the character that just became a Jedi Knight. And I want to know more about her. That's what I want to know more about. Yeah,
exactly. So hopefully we'll get that. Let's see. We got Swamp Thing #1 Chris is excited about.
I'm not getting Swamp Thing.
I'm not either.
Nobody cares. Nope. I'm just interested. I hope it's something like what we got.
You didn't read the Future State one. You didn't read the future, so that's why we did read the Future State one, and it's the same creative team.
Place with the Future State one.
It's the same creative team.
Yeah. So
but that doesn't mean, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be the same story that you read in Future State.
Come on, don't kill my hope. I'm hoping for a
good no, try it.
Absolutely.
I'm actually getting the first issue, I think, because on the final cutoff a long time ago, there was a variant cover, and the variant cover, the B cover for it, actually looks gorgeous. So I think I'm actually getting the B cover for it, and if I get the time, then I'll definitely read it. The only reason why I would not read Swamp Thing is because Swamp Thing is just not a character for me. I never really got into the character.
For me. Yeah,
so
I grew up watching the Swamp Thing crappy movie that everybody hates. When I was
if you want to read it, read it. Don't let us deter you from it. And we haven't even read it yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've always liked Swamp Thing more than us, so go for it.
Yeah, it might be your vibe. And also, Future State was such a difficult story, right? They were forced to put something in the middle. Like they might have a bigger, grander plan with their actual series.
Yeah. All right, we got Suicide Squad #1. I
am getting that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look through that. It's a #1. I want to try it at least.
Superboy's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, Superboy's in it.
Connor, yeah.
Yeah,
he was in it in Future State as well. So
and that's crossing over with Teen Titans,
right?
Yeah,
in the first,
Yeah, so it should be an interesting story. It's a completely new take on Suicide Squad, which I'm excited for. So we'll see what they do with it. We got Power Pack #4, which Kat and I have been loving.
Julie, don't die, please. I saw a preview and she seemed very alive, so I'm curious of how she survives. If she survives, I don't know. This is from Jack's point of view. The least interesting Power Pack character, even though they're all very interesting. Jack has always been 4th place for me. But I'm stoked. I love my Power Pack.
I mean, Jack's your typical young boy. He's just all about the action and fun and all that stuff. So, but maybe, just maybe, we'll get some depth from Jack in this issue. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. We'll see.
I think so. So far, we've gotten depth from all the other 3 characters. So I could definitely see that. Now he's a little bit older as well. So I think that will help him out. Yeah. He's not a bad character. I love all 4 of them. But if I had to pick favorite, it would be Jack.
Poor Jack. All right. So we got, let's see. We'll go with TMNT Jenica 2 #5. Have you been keeping up with this, Chris?
No, I just did issue #1. I have 2, 3. I still have to finish 2, 3, 4. I'm behind because I started late. But I'm going to be reading issue 5. Obviously, I'm just a little bit behind everybody else.
Okay. I actually don't read the.
Really good. The first issue was good for Jenica Volume 2, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't actually read the Jenica series. I don't particularly like Jenica. So,
Yeah, she's like, I could take her.
She's the angry turtle. I mean, Raph. I thought Raph was angry, but man, Jenica is angry.
Yeah, she got baggage. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not as fun for me to read her. Let's see. We got Avengers Mech Strike #2. Mike, you like that first issue? Going back for more.
Yeah, man, that book was awesome. That's better than any other Avengers title that's been out in the past 10 years.
That is saying nothing.
Yeah. But I can tell you that the art is good. The characters are humorous. The plot is a lot of fun. And the Avengers act like a team. I'm up for it. As long as it's out, I think this is going to be a good series.
Cool. So who's ready for some more Taskmaster? We got Thunderbolts issue 3. Yeah, me too. Man, dude, Chris, you've missed Taskmaster, man. He's been everywhere.
Oh, is it good now? Is he a good character now?
He's so good. It's so he was even in Power Pack. No.
They love Taskmaster.
We love Taskmaster now.
Taskmaster is like A-lister for me these days.
Yeah, he's so good. And
he's like disappeared for a couple of months, and Taskmaster comes up in the ranks. All right, okay.
Yeah, so he's leading this version of Thunderbolts, which is in the King in Black stuff. But yeah, okay. I think issue 1 was stronger than the last issue, but his last issue was still good. And there's some comical stuff going on in this book, and I'm looking forward to. Is this it, or is there?
Yeah, I think this is the last one.
Yeah. So we'll see how that all wraps up and what happens with Taskmaster going forward, maybe.
Yeah, but if you read a book, Chris, you got to read the Taskmaster main series.
Yeah, it's really good.
And that out of anything is the best.
3.
It's 3, and it's only 4 issues. Yeah.
So you could get it in trade.
So I can get the whole mini together. Okay.
Yeah. All right, we got America Chavez made in the USA #1. I think, Kat, you're the only one that's probably going to get this.
I was not planning on getting it, but then I saw I was getting 9 books, and I was like, oh, shit, I got to try out some of these issue ones. And I saw a preview that Kate was in it, so I was like, okay, maybe this is the one I should get. So I have a prediction. I'm a fortune teller. I will read this first issue and probably not read the second issue. But I'm going to give it an honest shot. I want to like the character. I really like Kate. So why not try it out?
Maybe it'll surprise you. I mean, every time I've tried to read something with America in it, it just hasn't grabbed me personally.
Me either.
Yeah, so I think she was okay in West Coast Avengers when she popped up, but that was about it.
I liked her there.
Yeah.
That's where she should be, though. I think having her own book, I don't think is necessary. I think her being part of a team is where she needs to be, and I think that's where she can shine. When it comes, is this her own? This is just her own series.
I don't
is
know.
Is it ongoing? Or is there mini? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. It's going to determine on the sales probably. When it comes to
it'll be a surprise mini.
Tavia is telling me not to waste my time. Again, I'm only getting 8 books, so it wouldn't be much of a waste of time if I read that.
That's true. All right. So one I know you were probably excited about, though, Kat, is King in Black, Wiccan, and Hulkling #1.
Yeah, this one's cool. I think it's a mini series, right? Or is it just a one shot? I don't know.
It's a one shot.
Yeah, I would think it's a one shot. Yeah.
Why is Wiccan and Hulking always they're we want to do something with them, but they only give them 1 issue? Yeah, I'm excited. They're married now, so that's cool. I just hope it's a cute issue. I don't want anything too epic, too grand. Just let's see them have some coffee. If the whole issue is just having coffee, it's cool.
It's not going to be about coffee when you got to do battle against a symbiotic dragon.
Yeah,
it's not going to be coffee.
They're joining.
Maybe at the end of the issue they can sit down, reunite with each other because they haven't got to spend a lot of time with each other since Empire. Then this has happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it? Hulkling's visiting from space and gets attacked by a dragon. What is? We're gonna introduce
this one shot. Now I'm like a little worried. Like, why are they in this?
Yeah, that is true. Why are they in this? I mean, I'm glad to see them, but
maybe this is something that happens beforehand.
Or
you know what I'm
maybe
saying?
Maybe it's because Wiccan is now in WandaVision and they're like, oh, we got to do something with that character.
They're like,
Yeah.
Well, think about it. I mean, obviously, this issue was announced a long time ago before the popularity of the show.
Oh, they knew.
You do make sense, though. They're probably like, man, hopefully this King in Black issue will sell really good this week because of Wiccan, isn't it? You know?
Right. Who knows?
Did they even know that's like? I feel like unless they have WandaVision on the title, most people wouldn't even know like Wiccan's even related to WandaVision. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. It's definitely one of the ones I'm more looking forward to this week.
All right, let's see. I know we don't have that many left. Let's go Runaways number 34.
I was gonna say, why are you hiding my kid Runaways?
I wasn't hiding. I was saving the good stuff for last.
You were hiding it. I love my Runaways. It is so good. You know, sometimes when you go in the comic book store, you just want to be excited for something, and I'm just excited for Runaways. And last issue was really good, and this one's gonna be Molly and Krakoa and all that fun jazz. I hope Carolina's not as hurt as she was in the last issue.
Oh yeah, she was.
Felt very bad for her.
Oh man, she was not good, not in a good place.
She was really sick. She looked sickly. She's not doing well.
Yeah, I will say though, this always finds itself at the top of my stack. It's like I try to save the books I want to read most for the last, but there's just certain books that I'm like, I got to read that now, and this is one of those. And I always look forward to it.
Excited. Yeah, it's always like my number one. So I'm like, oh man, I really need to see what happens in this book.
Yeah, for sure.
Avatar and Runaways coming out in the same week. How lucky am I?
Well, you know, on a week where
those are 2 out of your 9 books that you're reading.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Where you can take your time. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are in your top 5. Then the Wicking and Hulkling book are going to be in the top 5.
Yeah.
I hope so. It'll be a pretty bad week if that doesn't happen. I'll be very sad. And America becomes number 1.
And another one that could possibly be there, Firepower number 9.
Ooh, yeah, Firepower.
Oh, yeah, that's in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the continuation of them falling out of the plane. Like, what happens after that?
Yeah. It's like, how are they going to get out of that?
That's going to be cool.
Even though this is a small week, there's some good books out this week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And another number 1 we got is Berserker. Number 1. If you all were familiar with that big Kickstarter.
I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it.
Come on.
There's a super hype around it, and I hope that the hype doesn't kill the book. I'm gonna read it.
I feel like it's just gonna be a very like 80s action movie. I'm just like, I've never liked those.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like that.
Yeah, so I mean, unless you guys say, "Oh my god, it's amazing," I'll read it. Obviously,
I'm gonna say, "Oh my god, it's amazing," just so you buy it.
No. I'll skip through it and see what's so amazing about it, right? And be like, "All right, this doesn't look good." No,
I mean it's Keanu Reeves, man, with his own comic. I think that's kind of cool. And the book is, I guess, I mean, it was delayed, so was it? I think it was because of the artwork. I think it was the issue why they had to redo it.
It was delayed for like 2 months though.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. I just want to see same thing. I want to see why so many people are excited about it. Is it because it's a good story, or is it
going to be a movie? It's going to be a Keanu Reeves. Because they know it's going to become. Because they know it's going to be a spec book. That's the real reason.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Did any of you back the Kickstarter?
No.
I don't think I did either. I don't remember, honestly.
It was a little cheaper, and if it was signed, I probably would have.
Yeah, I think that was the thing. It was so expensive. I couldn't.
And the fact that it was going to hit comic shops, I was like, I'll just wait for it to hit comic shops.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was for a trade collection. Then also, you weren't getting it until like 3 years later. So I was like, And also, I think it was like when David had his Kickstarter. There's a lot of our friends had Kickstarters up.
I think Tom McFarlane was going on at the time too. Yeah, so I was like,
Yeah, there were just too many Kickstarters at the time. Nothing against Boom. I think it's great.
Scott Snyder's was at the same time too, or close there. Yeah.
I should show you guys what the book looks like because Nocterra.
Nocterra.
I gotta show you the guys the book. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
I wish I could show you guys the Spawn figures, but we're still waiting for those to be shipped to America so we can get them.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll try this issue, and maybe I'll regret not backing the Kickstarter. Who knows? I mean,
like I said, I'm going to try it and see what it's all about. And again, if it's not good, it's not good. And if it's not for me, same thing. I just won't read it anymore. But I think it's definitely worth a try.
Yeah, for sure. I actually wanted to back the Kickstarter, but I think it was just the expense and having to wait so long for it that I just
right.
So
totally get that. So Kat's getting her book, right?
Yeah. He's like, where did I put that book?
Yeah, right. Where is that?
Yeah, we've only got one more book to talk about, and it's one we all marked. So it's like I gotta wait now. But oh no, there is one more. Casual Fling, Mike.
Yeah, casual fling. Yeah, woman winds up cheating on her husband, and now we got this psycho guy that's going to be stalking her. And I love that first issue. Again, it's something that we've seen in a movie before, but it in comic book, I'm interested to read to see where it goes, and I think this can reach a much larger adult audience. So I'm excited for it. I think it was a great first read.
Okay, got the book. There it is. Isn't that? Look how big that is.
That's big.
Yeah,
oversized.
It's signed, and then all the pages are. So it's script, and then.
Oh, cool.
So I did not read it yet. So it's the script, and then it's the pages. So they show you like the breakdown of the book.
Right.
Oh, cool.
That's what it looks like.
That's really neat.
Yeah, it's a really cool collection. So that Kickstarter is definitely worth it. And I'm very excited to read that issue tomorrow because I haven't read this yet because I wanted to read the regular issue first.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to read it also. Oh, wait, I'm not getting it tomorrow.
Sorry, Mike. There was another one I missed. Gwen versus Carnage issue 3.
It's been okay. It's been an okay series for me. Like I like that it's returned, but I feel like it has so much potential that it didn't dive into. Unless
it's just a big fight. That's really what it is, and they talk while they fight, and that's about it.
Not a lot of emotional beats that are so there for Mary Jane and Gwen, which is a little disappointing.
Right. And the last book we had to talk about, we actually kind of talked about earlier, Infinite Frontier, issue number 0. Yeah. So, I mean, we are all kind of excited about that, and hopefully it. You've already read it, Kat?
Yeah, a lot to talk about. I would say every story has something to talk about, which will be a lot of fun. I honestly I had to do something for Newsarama for it, but I had to write down the beats of like the important stuff that happened, and I kept it that way I can like remember because I read it 2 weeks ago. And it was like a 15-20 beats of like big stuff that happened. So it's a cool book.
Awesome. Yeah. So we'll definitely be talking about that. Maybe, who knows, maybe that'll be part of our topic. We'll see. But that's it. Yeah.
Did you guys did you catch up on WandaVision, Kat?
I'm caught up.
I did. Yeah. I actually caught up on all of it. So.
Oh, nice.
So good. As soon as I saw, well, I don't want to spoil it too much, but the Vision, the color, it's like, we're going there.
I was watching it with my son, and I was like,
given away by everyone. Funko even made a figure of it already. It's already given up. That's been given up by everybody already.
I was like shaking my son at, it's just like, oh man, they actually went there with that.
I was doing the same thing with Lisa. Cool. Yeah.
That episode in general though was probably like one of the best episodes because I loved how they tied like her whole history in, together and where she came from and just how she, why she came up with the town with the whole, with her love for sitcom TV and everything. It's just So awesome, man. So good.
Yeah, I really enjoy that too. It's
I'm
funny.
excited for that last episode. I just want to see how it ends. And again, we're skirting spoilers. We're not spoiling it for you guys.
Right.
This is all very, very non-spoiler descriptions of it all. But yeah, I want to know if it's gonna be epic. How epic? I guess the ending's gonna be.
Do you have any
Yeah.
predictions, like who we might still see? Do you guys think we'll see Mephisto in this episode?
I think we'll definitely see somebody else that was just in the scene with Mephisto.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
could definitely see that happening. I think there will be a teaser to the X-Men. I don't think we'll like actually get anything, but I think there'll be a teaser to it.
That would be
Maybe
awesome.
something Captain Marvel related, just because obviously. I think maybe we'll see Kamala Khan to tie it into that new
That could be
series.
interesting. Yeah,
I
don't know.
Yeah, a lot of cool things that can happen. What I like about the show is that even though everyone loves to spoiler for you, they don't release the runtime. They don't release anything about the show. So you really don't know what you're going and getting into. I think that's so cool. And that they do it weekly.
Yeah,
right.
Just stay off social media come midnight Friday morning.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
man, it's terrible. I happened to watch a video popped up in my recommended of Elizabeth Olsen from like 3 years ago or something like that, talking about the history of Wanda, and she like started saying stuff, and then she said coming to a TV near you soon, and it was like, oh wow, this stuff actually happened in the show. So she was spoiling it years ago.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's crazy.
Again, though, this kind of shows you how a TV format for a superhero show can work when done correctly. Like,
and actually get people excited for something. Like, I love the talking points. I love that this has totally become the water cooler show.
Right.
COVID.
Right. I mean, you look at the average length of episode is like 30 minutes long, maybe a little longer, and we're going into what, the 10th episode or ninth episode. Yeah. So you basically had like 4.5 hours of show, and it's just like, try fitting that into a movie. You kind of can't. So again, releasing it on, Disney Plus, something like this, it gives you time to tell your story, and it's just done so well. It's done so incredibly well.
It is,
and
really
it helps the entire Marvel universe as well. So you can still accomplish something that you accomplished on the big screen. You could do it on the small screen as well.
Absolutely.
So great stuff. All right. So there's our little WandaVision talk. So before we close out the show, I'm going to pass it to you guys. You guys have any news that you wanted to talk about real quick?
Just for me, I'm mailing out like for all my daughter. She's 7, so this week is absolutely nuts. So looking forward to getting all the packages out. It's like 200 packages, so it's gonna be a fun week. Other than that, the Bi-Visibility Bisexual Anthology is still going on. Looking for submissions for that one. We've gotten some good ones. All retweets are appreciated. We're at like 350 likes on the retweet, so also appreciate all the shares that have been happening with that. And then The Dancer is launching March 15th, so 2 Mondays from now. That's going to be launching. That's going to be a big campaign, 30-day campaign. So hopefully you guys could go support it, follow it, so you guys could get into the early bird specials for that.
Nice. Looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Of course. For me, I mean, it's mainly about the show, but also I just want to kind of give an update for people that love Ember. Pages are coming in, and they're looking fantastic. I've been sharing them. I actually got another page yesterday, so I'm really excited about that. And we do have a Kickstarter coming up soon for pneumatic cases. That'll be sometime this month. I can't tell you the exact date yet, but it's coming. And then, of course, the audio version of this show starts this week, so stay tuned for that. Watch our social media at Comic Frontline for details on that when it releases, and we'll, of course, update the Kickstarter and newsletter and all that stuff, too.
And on my end, We got pages for Celestial Falcon and lettered pages. It looks gorgeous. We're very happy about it. Yes, Brand, I'm sure. And look forward to more news on Celestial Falcon in the medium future, not distant but not close future. This week I am working on fixing my Twitch stream. I'm not really doing anything big this week. There is going to be a top 10 most anticipated for my Dark Avenger channel. I'm working. This is my first week of college, so honestly, I'm very busy just figuring out my college schedule. So don't expect too much coming out of me this week, other than those few things.
All right, and of course, guys, you can follow me on Comic Book Corner 2.0 because I don't write comic books, but I do make a lot of videos and talking about those comic books. So you guys can follow me, and I have video released on Monday with my top 10 comic book covers of the week. On Tuesday, I did my top 10 most anticipated comic books for next week. And tomorrow will be a comic book haul, whatever comic books I wind up getting. And then whatever else is there for the week, go ahead and check that out, as well as my schedule's a little bit all over the place because of those release schedules from Diamond. So, yes, that is all that I have. Do you guys have anything else?
No,
Good.
I think
No.
that's it.
All right. So I and the rest of the cast want to thank all of you for taking the time to watch the show and listen to the show. So thank you. And if you would like to, you can please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. That stuff always helps the YouTube channel. Of course, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. And yeah, guys, and when we get that chance to get those ratings up there on iTunes, you can, give us a review on there as well. So that's very important. So once again, this is us giving you the wave, just in case you're listening to us. You see us actually waving at the screen right now. And we're going to end this show. So thank you so much, guys, and we will see you all next week.